Hi, I'm Loren Lukens. I'm here in my studio in Merced. I'm here with Don Hall with Don Hall Works. We're going to make a piece here today that's made from a thrown piece and then altered rather significantly, this oval shaped bowl. So I'm all wedged up, I'm centered, I've started to open. Let's throw this bowl. I'm going to trim a foot on the bottom of this at the end of the process. So I'm leaving a little extra clay on the bottom. So I set my bottom thickness. If I was a better potter, I would check the thickness with a needle tool, but I got it right. And here we go. Thumb and forefinger is the first pull. Get a lot of mileage out of this first pull. It's going to be a wide piece, so I leave a little extra thickness at the top. I don't count that as a pull. Now I've got 3 pulls to get it right. 3 pulls and you're done, remember. Get one more. All right, here's the final pull. A little bit of water. Press in with my right hand. Sweep across it with the inside finger. Pick up some clay. And off we go with the final pull. Go. And now I'm going to start ribbing with this same really stiff rib, pushing out against it. I'm removing the throwing rings and also enlarging the size of the bowl. And that's the last time we'll touch the outside. Everything else will be done from the inside. All right, now I'm ribbing out the inside, supporting the outside with my finger, and going from the top to the bottom, expanding the bowl, eliminating throwing rings, smoothing the surface, exposing air bubbles as it happens, because I have some in this clay that I'll address before I finish the piece, but for now I'm working right over the top of these air bubbles. And once again, as I've showed in previous videos, as I rib the inside, it's not one smooth continuous motion. I'm going piece at a time, section at a time, because I'm going against the grain. This is salmon swimming upstream. So you're fighting the natural configuration of the pot that was thrown from the bottom up. And now I'm trying to work from the top down. But it's the sinews of the throwing lines that holds this piece up. and you have to work against them quite a bit to get them to move. Now it's time for that ubiquitous potter's swirl. Here we go. Outside to inside. I'm going to do a little more shaping because I want to have this bowl be just a little wider than this. Supporting from the outside, I have my finger under it to hold that wall up. Pushing against the finger is where you get the most traction. Okay, that's about all I need. I'm gonna pop a few air bubbles here now. Just a couple of little holes and then spread across them. Let's see what I did here. I just went boop, boop, boop. And then I'll spread across them. Air bubbles are never as much of a problem as they make them out to be in classes. They can make your pot go out of round, but if you get your technique up, you can throw right around these air bubbles. All right, now, so I'm going to stretch this piece a little bit, find a spot on one side, find a spot on the other side, and pull it out. Push it up and pull it out. Push it up and pull it out. Using dry hands to allow the shape to move. And when it wants to go back to round, it always wants to go back to round, which is part of the structure of the thrown wall, which is kind of a miracle. But you convince it a little at a time that it wants to be this new shape, and it will comply eventually. Okay, that's close to what I want, but now it's time to make a cut. So I have made myself a little template, which I did by folding paper into quarters and cutting a curve so that you have the same shape all the way around. I'm going to lay this across my piece so that it's more or less the shape I want it to be, and is in the right spot. And then I'm going to use that as a template to draw a line. And since this template is a little smaller than the piece needs, I'm just going to use it as a guide and go about an inch bigger all the way around. This is just a guide. I use this cheese cutter. It's actually not a cheese cutter, although you could certainly use a regular cheese cutter. This is a tool I got at a Pottery supply store in Jingdezhen, China. So it was actually made to cut clay. Bamboo and a wire. Very simple. Wonderful tool. Still cutting with this cheese cutter. Do the other side here. You could use just a cutoff wire if you're steady enough. All right. There's my rough cut. That's pretty good. You get the idea of what it will be. Nice oval piece. It's time for that to sit and dry for a little bit, and we'll work on the other one that has been sitting for just a minute. All right, so this is a piece that I made yesterday, and I did the rough cut that you just saw. And now I'm going to use a Sureform tool to get the shape just as accurate as I want it to be. And if I were a better potter, once again, I would have a template so that I could actually make sure that I was getting this equilateral. But you know what? Everybody's going to judge this by eye anyway. So unless you're an engineer, and some are engineers and care about that kind of thing, your eye is good enough. But I am trying to make it disciplined shape. And I'm going to round the corners just a little bit so that I have an edge that's pleasing. If you've done a good job of throwing, you'll have the same thickness of the rim all the way around, even though you've cut down into it. And then I'll use I have a rib that I bought not too long ago that has all of these little shapes cut out of it. It's pretty nifty. I used to make my own versions of this, and they kept wearing out because they were made out of flexible steel ribs, and I'd wear them out. This is a hefty boy, and it's precision cut, so I use these to do my edges now.
Loren's tools.
I don't remember where I got this tool, but it's handy. It's got all these different shapes. Potter's tools have come a long way. Although, a stick and wire about all you need, really. A sponge is handy sometimes. All right, so this is as good as it needs to be. For now, I think that's pretty good shape, you think? Good enough? Time to trim the foot. I have a series of chucks that I've made, gosh, 30, 40 years ago that I've been using. They're bisque shapes, very handy. I recommend any potter, anybody who's ever going to make another pot, not just one in their whole life, have some of the first ones be a chuck, a throwing or a trimming chuck. Because you do them and then you'll have them. It's possible to use a ready-made throwing or trimming chuck just out of clay, but then you do it every time. Why don't you just do it once and bisque it and you've got it? So I've leveled it And now I need to center it. Tap center, always a good trick to learn. All right, here we go. Another thing you can do to help yourself with this centered clay is to use a lid and let your finger spin on the lid, and that'll help hold everything down. See how I have my arms triangulated against each other? This thumb holding this is holding this down. This thumb is bracing the whole thing. Make your arm like a lathe. It gets a little tricky down in here because it's no longer a round shape because you did that alteration. Okay, now trim the center out. Everybody has their favorite trimming tools, and you get started using a trimming tool and you use it, that same type of tool for the rest of your life maybe. This is called a KSP4 by Kemper. I have bought these 10 at a time for years and years. I should have invested in it because I have put enough money into these. So it has a squared off end and it has a round end. I use both of them. You can tell the thickness by tapping. Higher pitch means it's thinner, just like tightening a drum. Timpani. So it's a fairly deep foot towards the edge. I'm going to thin the outside one just a little bit more. Maybe give it a little definition here at the base. Give it a little edge. And then finish it with my finger, and I round this whole thing off. So you end up with the foot has a curve to it. Does that make sense? There you have it. That's it for today. This piece, if I were to do the decoration on it, to make it like this, I would put the slip on next. That'd be my next step. You've seen me do that on some other pieces before. Have a good day.